I know some actors like to go into method acting, but this just seems a little bit too fucked up for my taste. Devil's Workshop. This is an interesting one because it towed that line between drama and horror and managed to juggle them pretty well together. So we are following Clayton in this movie. He is a struggling actor and he's auditioning for a role as a demonologist. You know, speak to the dead, do exorcisms, all that sort of realm. And so to take on this role, he gets hooked up with a demonologist to learn from her, study her, and just kind of see what she's about to hopefully get him the acting job. And this is where we get introduced to Eliza. What this movie excels in is the slow build that Eliza's putting forward for Clayton to just learn about her life and learn about her job. There's small reveals as we go that just show kind of how deep she goes and a bit about her past. But with Clayton struggling the way he is committed because he is doing anything he can to get this perfect job. There is also a beeline to this movie. Like somebody he knows as another actor is also going for this job, and he's a bit of a dick. Like, Donald is that kind of guy that just thinks the world owes him everything. He got some acting job when he was a kid and has just kind of built on that ever since. Nothing major, but he's just got this ego about him. However, he's played by Emile Hirsch. I've not seen this man until recently, and I've seen him in The Immaculate Room. And again, he's such a good actor. As much as his part of this movie was a B story, I wish there was more of him. Well, not Donald, he was a bit of an arsehole. However, Emile, he's just great. Put him on the screen a little bit more. So Clayton is learning a lot from Eliza here, but she's got her back up because obviously a lot of people doubt her. They don't believe she can talk to the dead and believe in ghosts, the devil, and all of this sort of thing. So she's treading quite lightly to begin with to see kind of how much Clayton is going to believe and buy into this. You know, she's not here to just show off her craft to somebody that's going to take the piss, which Clayton kind of does at one point when he finds a tape of her failed TV show for like ghost hunting. Not the smartest move there, Clayton. What worked with this movie is obviously we've got the build of Eliza showing him more, but you don't quite know Eliza's motive. And they tow it really well, I think. You don't know whether she wants to kill him, she wants to seduce him, or she just wants to help him out as a friend. Fucking don't know with you, Eliza. Put your guard down just a little bit. But even though we don't know this and there's that question mark around it, Clayton is still invested. He is still wanting to go with the flow and eventually starts opening his mind up a little. And in their conversations, Eliza's trying to understand him just as much because she needs someone to be honest with him. She sits him down and says about his self-doubt that he's got. It doesn't take a psychic to realise he's got self-doubt. He's been an actor for 15 years and he's fucking struggling. You'd probably doubt yourself in that point too. However, for some reason, that is more than enough for him to believe that she's the real deal and she can fucking do it. The movie looked really nice as well. The majority of it takes place in her home. It is a big ass home, so there's a lot to do in it. But also, they do this kind of weird visual thing with laptops and screens. I've not seen much of it. I've seen similar things elsewhere, but not quite like this. The first time it took me back a little because it just kind of came out of nowhere since they're not using devices a lot in the movie. I like the look of this. It looks really slick. I'd like to see this more in movies when they bring up the screens. But this movie is not really about demonologists, and that is what I really enjoyed about it. It's all about your own self-doubt and your own trauma that you need to deal with. I say you, but I mean Clayton here. You know, for him to be honest with Eliza, he needs to be really honest. He opens up a lot more than he expected to for just going to someone's house. But that's where the movie really goes in deep. It's all about Clayton and the baggage he's carrying with him for all of these years. Whether it's brought on by himself or it is genuine trauma that he's had in his past. Eliza's trying to help him with his acting job, but also just help him. And the whole time she's doing it, you still don't fucking know why she's doing it. And every so often, as I said, we cut back to this B story where we see Donald getting a little bit further towards the audition, being a total prick about it, but like, you love to see it. He just plays it well. Radha Mitchell as Eliza here I thought was perfect casting. Wanting to keep her back up, learn about somebody else and kind of get into their head and explore them a little bit. Ironically, although Clayton is a terrible fucking actor and he's clearly struggling, I thought the performance there was great. Again, this is somebody who is struggling behind the eyes sort of situation. But I wouldn't be going into this expecting it to be some horror. The photo for it is a lot more horror than the movie actually is. You know, I was expecting it to be a bit more of a campy horror with a lot of jump scares and just a lot of demons, ghosts, that sort of thing. It's not what you get here, and it's not a bad thing. It's more drama than it's going to be horror for you. With all that, what would I be saying about Devil's Workshop? If you have the time, put it on. If you want a horror that's a little bit of a slower burn, you know, it's not going to keep coming at you with scares. There's not cheesy scares in it, you know, like the cheap ones they take. Thought the performances were all great in it. It's more of a view as somebody's struggle and someone's trauma than it really is the demons that exist within us all. And don't worry, it doesn't do that cheesy thing where demons are his baggage all along. There's clearly like actual demons and metaphorical baggage. They're two separate things. But for anyone that's had that self-doubt in their life at some point, which is going to be everybody, I would imagine, in some respect, you can relate relate to Clayton very well here, and you get his reluctance to open up that bit more. And it's not that he doesn't want to be honest with Eliza, he doesn't want to be honest with himself as well. Now look, have you seen Devil's Workshop? If you have, let me know down below if we agree or disagree. So if you haven't yet, please do consider hitting subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching.